Life is so busy, if you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanFit Pro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-improvement, setting your goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 7, A Moment with Mo. This episode focuses on an event, and not only an event, but a whole movement shaped around something I'm so passionate about. It's called Women Who Influence. It is an event, and we'll talk all about that today, but more importantly, why this event exists. Women Who Influence started in 2013. It really was out of a need to serve the fitness industry where women's leadership was lacking. And it really is designed with a purpose of enabling leadership development through education, mentoring, and self-empowerment. Now, for this event, Women Who Influence, it does provide an opportunity for all women and men and everyone who leads. Everyone who leads must understand the importance of leading themselves and supporting leadership for others. And it is needed more in the world today than ever before. My guest today shares the same incredible passion for this event and for what this event represents. And again, this guest understands the importance of helping women rise, to stand up, to find their voice, and to speak out. So I'm so delighted to welcome Beth Yarzab to today's episode. Hi, Beth.
Hi, Mo. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I couldn't think of a better person and fellow warrior in this movement that we have created. And I'm got to give a shout out not only to you, but to CanFit Pro, because they really together have supported this endeavor that's now in its 10th year, if you can believe it.
Fantastic.
Can't wait. As mentioned, I'm going to introduce you all. If you haven't met Beth, you are up for a great, great encounter. So Beth is a multi-certified fitness professional and educator. And Beth actually is a colleague at CanFit Pro. We are so grateful to have you as the certification developer. And in this role, Beth develops certification courses as well, certification programs, as well as online courses. And you also act as an advisor for this event. We'll talk about how that came to be. And also, you are a personal trainer and a fitness instructor certified with CanFit Pro, and you serve clients both online and in person. And last but not least, of your many talents, you proudly teach CanFit Pro certification through the lens of body inclusivity, which is very important today. And we are so grateful to have you as part of what we call the Pro Trainer team at CanFit Pro. Welcome, welcome. And I've been looking forward to this episode to speak with you, because every time I do, I learn something about you. I learn something about your true heart-led intention around everything that you do. And that will be really important as we share insights for this event, but also what this event stands for and what we hope it will do to inspire everyone that is viewing or watching this episode to perhaps not only join us this August at the 10th annual Women Who Influence, but perhaps start something similar in your own organization. So to kick this off, we're going to start with a not so easy question, but a very important one. So women's leadership is really important, as we both know. It's something you champion and that you're super passionate about. And I want to start off by discussing one of the most important qualities that women who are in leadership positions possess, and that is courage. So in your experience, how do courageous women shape their lives and inspire others?
Thanks for asking. That's a great question. Yes, I really feel that courage is about a willingness to pivot. So I've thought a lot about this, about reinvention and the opportunity to shift and change and take a new path. And the Women Who Influence event brings forward stories of pivoting and reinvention every single year from our presenters and our speakers. And that is something that really inspires me and really speaks to courage. And I really think there's three things about that willingness to pivot that are crucial. And number one, it's that willingness to think expansively and be curious, so that you have the courage to kind of think outside of your normal and your everyday so that you can see what's next for you, or next for the people around you who you're mentoring as a leader. Secondly, that ability to listen to your intuition and have the courage to tap into your gut instinct on things because it's telling you the right next step, even though it looks scary most oftentimes. And thirdly, that willingness to pivot, and that really is the definition of courage for me, is the ability to seek out people and opportunities that will nudge you or sometimes push you into that next ability to reinvent yourself, or that next opportunity to take a new path. And that kind of courage really inspires me, Mo, because when I watch someone I respect and admire reinvent themselves, it's just so evident that they're going through growth and personal change. And that is courage to me. That is, taking a path less traveled. That is maybe doing something that doesn't seem logical, but it's the right next step. And to have the courage to do that, because so many times we can be stuck in what seems logical or what seems to be the right career path or place to live, or relationships that surround us. And having that ability to pivot and really make a shift, even if it's not logical, is courage to me.
That is brilliant. I don't know if I have heard yet. We've been talking about courage this entire 2023, as it is our theme at CanFit Pro for our 30th anniversary year. But I can't think I've heard the definition of courage, but how to act out courageously as you've just shared. So thank you. And I took notes, really, and I encourage listeners to do the same. I thought it was fantastic about, we hear it all the time, thinking big, but leading with curiosity allows you to think bigger or more expansively, like you said, and listening to your intuition. My coach once said, we're all gifted with a true leadership gift. That is either you know it, you feel it, your gut tells you, your intuition, and whatever that gift is, it's really yours to utilize in this one precious life. And many of us hold back, right? Because of lack of courage. And then, of course, I loved what you said about the courage to have others, to reach out to others. And I know you're a goal setter, and you also train trainers and understand goal setting. And I've heard that, it's important to write your goals down, but it's more effective if you share your goals or your intention and then ask for help or accountability. What are your thoughts on that? As you mentioned about people giving you a nudge, or sometimes you said it lovely, push versus a kick in the, you know what?
That's right. Yeah. Sometimes that push can be pretty hard, and you might not be ready for it, but that means it's the right next thing to do.
The right next thing.
Yeah. No, I've been through a couple of reinventions in my own career, and that's, there's this formula, like be curious, listen to your intuition, seek out those people and those opportunities. And there's that formula, but it's not easy. It's still hard because you're literally looking into a black hole of opportunity thinking, where am I going next? And it's really scary because we are in our pattern, and there's that kind of imposter thinking or those doubts. And so for me, like that accountability to have faith and take action, that is courage. And that is what we all need. And that is what I always get when I network with like-minded people at events, professional and personal development events, such as Women Who Influence, and just, working with you and as a mentor and as a friend, and some of the speakers that we have coming to Women Who Influence this year, I've had the pleasure and honor to work with in different capacities over the years. So, and then we have all these new presenters coming and speaking on new topics. So, I'm just, maybe I'm segueing to a little bit to the event.
Perfect.
It's exciting. So I can't help but talk about it.
Well, that's exactly right. I do want to share a little fun story, and I know you've likely heard this, but for those who haven't, and you mentioned the nuggets, which we're going to talk about, is the importance of networking, the importance of mentorship, the importance of educating yourself for the pure passion of understanding yourself so you can lead herself. I remember talking to my dear friend, and I'll speak about this person momentarily, as she is someone who kicked off the first Women Who Influence event. But when I spoke to Helen Vanderberg one evening in London, England, over a glass or two of wine, and I said, Helen, I've been wanting to do this event, Women Who Influence, and every time I go to do it, life gets too busy. Everyone's too busy. It's like, oh, we don't have time. No time, no dime, no whatever. And Helen cut me off. She literally said, Mo, stop talking about it and just do it. And that's what I needed as that push. So thank you for bringing that up. And you know what? We all need more people behind us, beside us, and sometimes in front of us to help us move ourselves forward, especially as we're developing our courage. So perfect segue to our next question. Yes, you have insight onto this year's event. Before we dive into that, you have been working with me as an advisor for the last 3 years. Of course, last year it was quite unique going back in person, the previous 2 online. And I wanted to ask you yourself, how has this event over the last 3 years influenced you personally, professionally? Love to hear.
Thanks. Yeah. And I've just loved working with you on it. Every year is a little bit different. And I feel that I grow personally and professionally a little bit more. And we get closer, and I get to make new friends with other people who are involved, whether it's on, the backstage side of things. I'm thinking of my good friend, Christine, and our AV team to our good friend, Emily, to the many speakers that we have. And I guess, from a personal perspective, Women Who Influence has been all about just these fun experiences, new friendships, and witnessing phenomenal, talented people have the light just shone bright on them on that day. And it's magnetic just to be around people who have worked to get there, who have worked to have that platform, who have compelling, resonating stories to share that we can all learn from, and then to feel the experience that everyone is sharing in the room, whether it's online, because we certainly did that for 2 years, or in person. And so that's the personal component of it. And then professionally, I've definitely learned how to create those meaningful shared experiences, both online and in person. And that's this whole new hybrid skill set in terms of hosting and moderating and presenting myself. And I've watched you, Mo, just draw together diverse individuals and have them fit into a cohesive theme. Last year, we talked about belonging. That was, near and dear to both of our hearts as well. And I've seen you just, really shine as well, just to be that person who can bring multiple unique voices to the table or to the stage at Women Who Influence or to the Zoom room. And together and with the other contributors, I feel that we've all gotten better at helping people feel that they're cared for and valued through the whole experience, whether they're presenting, whether they're helping backstage, whether they are delegates in the room, whether they're sponsors, our valued sponsors. I mean, I think together we've grown in just helping others feel like they're so valued for being part of it. And we all grow together because we're sharing the experience.
That's brilliant. And yes, we're all growing together. And that's something that we walk away with feeling proud about and grateful for. But we also get to celebrate. We get to celebrate those aha moments and those vulnerable, tearful moments that always tend to happen. And those, I love it when people realize something in that room on that day. And sometimes it takes being in a room with either your friends around the table or total strangers to have those moments. You just hear something that perhaps you've heard many times before, but just hearing it from a story and from a key learning takeaway. And that's always, I mean, it's just like a great movie classic. Everybody wants to follow the road to see where the characters go or they lead and struggle through to, they always say with courage, it's like the confidence to work through the fear, to work through it, to then reveal the gifts that come from that work. So that's what this day is all about. This year, Women Who Influence takes place on the heels of a very important event in the fitness industry, one of the largest, if not the largest education conferences and trade shows in the world, CanFit Pro Global. This takes place in August 18th to 20th in Toronto. On the heels of that event is Women Who Influence on Thursday, August the 17th. Takes place at the Intercontinental Hotel in downtown Toronto. It is a wonderful destination, especially in August. But more importantly, it's an opportunity, just like a reunion, to come back together whether it's the industry you come back together to meet up with, or whether it's your friends you come to the event with, or whether it's an opportunity to step out of what for some has been a very small world in the last year for still working remotely a majority of the time. What I'd love to share about this event for those that have been before is that this event is going to be somewhat different. Yes, it is a day-long event. Yes, we're going to, of course, have everything that we love. That is incredible speakers, 7 very unique speakers delivering not only their story, hey, Beth, but full 30 to 45-minute keynote presentations that will shape leadership development. Also, expert-led networking that will help you find and build your confidence by working through some courageous networking exercises. And then, of course, being with like-minded people and being in a room with these incredible peers, and whether they're the leaders that we follow today and work with, or we aspire to be like and learn from, or whether it's the future leaders in the making, we get to celebrate together. Before I ask you the next question, Beth, I just want to let everyone know that I mentioned there's going to be full presentations this year beyond sharing that courageous story, because courage is our theme. We will be talking about the importance of telling your story. That is courage, number one, and the resiliency to move through it. Or as you said right off the top of this episode, to pivot and reinvent yourself. And sometimes we realize that when we hear the stories of others, right? We're going to talk about how to optimize performance, mindful servant leadership, and also physical, mental, and financial well-being. Now, that is a first, but there is a lot to do, a lot with that especially women need help with as far as building confidence and worthiness around. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've had a sneak peek at this year's lineup of presenters. We'll tell you, everyone, where you can see that lineup and learn more. But having seen the lineup and having a look and a discussion around this year's agenda, I'd love for you to take a moment to share what's different about this year's Women Who Influence event and what's got you the most excited.
Yeah, this year, I think I'm really excited about having men and women speak and share the stage at Women Who Influence, and to amplify our leadership abilities. And I feel this event this year is innovating to go even further to help all feel welcome. And we want everyone to be there, everyone who is a leader or a leader in the making, and to bring someone you can maybe tap on the shoulder who you see leadership potential for, to bring in, and what a gift that is, to bring somebody with you who deserves to be there. We all deserve to be there. So sometimes we're just not aware of it, and you need to do that nudge or that push to bring a friend or a colleague to an event like this. But I know that in the past, what I've always loved are those moments of vulnerability that you discussed, Mo, about this presenters sharing a personal story of challenge and triumph. And I know that will weave in this year to the talks. However, this new component of longer sessions and deeper dives into very important topics like mindfulness, resiliency, money mindset, leadership, confidence, these topics, I feel that I'm going to have like a mini MBA when I walk out of that event that day, because they're going deeper into richer experiences that we can have with those topics. And so it's definitely feeling very exciting to be part of the event that has, more substance in terms of content that we can learn and apply right away next day.
Brilliant. And I love that, a mini MBA. I think we should add that to the marketing. And it truly is, it is. And I hear this all the time, if I could only learn this type of true business skill, the essential skills, which are not those, what you learn in school skills, but the essential human skills of how to work with each other, collaborate, to self-actualize where your strengths are, and how to be vulnerable, even in the workplace. As we come to learn that vulnerability and humility are essential skills that we must possess to increase our emotional intelligence, or our EQ, not just our IQ. And being around those that have walked that path before us and can share key takeaway insights and lessons learned, not just the successes, but the lessons, and doing that through storytelling as well. So it really is leveling up on what Women Who Influence has been in the past. So thank you for identifying that. And I was checking some of the boxes in my mind, because if any of you were to Google or use your AI assistant, what are the challenges, or what are the facts around women's leadership in Canada, I was shocked, like naive, to find out that there are at least 30 facts around women's leadership in Canada alone that are shocking and sad to hear about, that still exist today. I know I have privilege to have grown up in a company that has supported women's leadership, but that is not the case in most corporations. So here's a bit of news for all of you. Women Who Influence is being marketed to some of the largest corporations here in Canada, hundreds of corporate organizations, and many of them that have positioned women's leadership as their number one diversity, equity, and inclusion strategic initiative for this year, because it is such a lacking and very evident in moving the needle forward in corporations today. We need all voices, and again, all of the emotions that women bring uniquely to the table as what will balance out the male leadership that dominates in organizations. And that's not to say that males leading in the work world today is a bad thing. It's not. We just need to balance it out. I think, Beth, you probably have something to share on that. I wanted to highlight 3 points that were on that list of 30, and then I'd love your comments on it. One of the points, of course, there is overall underrepresentation of women, not only in leadership roles, but in C-suite positions. So anything with a chief operating, chief executive, chief intelligence, that's tech, chief creative officer. Like, there's so many different C-suite positions today that lack women representation. The gender pay, well, it is certainly, there might be some progress there. It still exists. There's gaps and biases. And 3 things that I found in my research was that women in order to rise into leadership, must feel that they have female mentorship available to them. Number two, networking opportunities. I take networking for granted because I guess I am privileged to be able to connect with so many people. But I have to say it, I've stepped into those rooms where I haven't been comfortable because I didn't know if I belonged. But I stepped in because I wanted to move on and I wanted to really, truly live my purpose. And, I wanted to be accountable to what I put out in the world as what I'm meant to be and do. And then, so I had to step into those rooms to network, even if I felt like I was, unknown to anyone there. But I was always saying to myself, why was I so nervous? This is so much fun. And then lastly, and this is a really important one, I know you probably, being the expert you are, especially through this body inclusive work that you do, is the confidence gap that women have. Women will wait until they feel they have 100+% of the skill set before they apply for a promotion, whereas their male counterpart will apply for that promotion or job with 50 to 70% of the skill set, but believe in themselves. So those are the three that really stood out to me. And I wanted to mention them because those are three we're all going to really address at Women Who Influence and this type of event. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yes, I think something worth noting is the intersectionality of this as well, because if it's a woman of color, they're disproportionately affected by these terrible stats as well. So I just wanted to make mention of that. Secondly, I think the money mindset and the financial resiliency piece that we're going to have at Women Who Influence this year is especially important because of that pay gap. And women are disproportionately affected by this pay gap because we are most often caregivers. Myself, I decided to stay at home with my twins. It was actually going to be cost prohibitive for me to go back to the workforce when I had twins, and I would have had to pay for 2 infants in daycare at the time. I know that daycare has changed a bit since 16 years ago when mine were babies, but at the time it was very costly. And so I took a different route. I took an entrepreneurship route so I could have flexibility to be with my daughters. But that did affect my pay, like with all transparency. And so, that kind of comes into play, as well as I have clients and friends who have parents that they're caregiving for as well as their children. So they're just not able to strive for the promotions or those jobs that maybe have the additional pressure and responsibility because they just have so much more pressure and responsibility in other aspects of their lives. So what can we do to manage our money and keep that financial resiliency and really own it so that we are moving ahead despite the inequities in terms of gender pay gap?
Oh, very good. I'd love to move to talk about a special award that is going to be presented this year for the third time. It was presented originally to the person this award is now dedicated to. Before I do, though, I want to push back and share something with all of you. This is the power of being in a room, whether you feel like you belong or whether you have fear around stepping into an event or a room with leaders that perhaps, again, you haven't found your place, or perhaps you, again, a little bit of that imposter syndrome that many of us face. Is I want to share something with you. I happened to find this just today, and we're talking about this event, so I felt it was serendipitous to share. This is a picture of the very first Women Who Influence event. And I'm sharing it because the power of being in a room to celebrate, to learn from these women. And I want to start from this side is Toscarino. Toscarino, I was so nervous to meet at Women Who Influence in that first year. She's like the rock star, eat clean queen of Canada. We now work in the same business together and we're the best of friends. That came about from Women Who Influence, now 10 years strong. Helen Vanderberg, again, I mentioned her earlier. She was the one that said, Mo, stop talking about it and just do it. She is in the Sports Hall of Fame in Canada for being the first world champion synchronized swimmer. now is an Olympic sport thanks to Helen. We are the dearest of friends and have worked together for years. In the middle is my boss, Jane Riddell, who's still my boss today, and I've had the privilege of working with for 39 years. Silken Lauman, I had a poster in my office. There is no finish line with her and that rowing image of her coming through the finish line. And she's my hero in sport and really reminds me to train every day, no matter how tough it gets. And then, of course, beside her is myself. And then beside myself is Lynn Brick. Lynn Brick was responsible for me finding the courage to leave my dream career since I was 6 years old, to leave physiotherapy and become the Lynn Brick of Canada. She was my very first mentor and the first presenter I ever hired. I wanted to share that because I invited these powerful leaders. And as a result of that event, they were able to not only be celebrated, but also to help influence and be, as Beth mentioned right off the top, to be the pathfinders for all of us as leaders in the making, to walk the path with them, with their courage and encouragement and their mentorship and their leadership until we found our own path. And I love the word lead her, which is the theme of today's show, because the Euro-Greek language defines lead her, leader, like the word leader. If you divide it up, lead and der, it means pathfinder. So let's jump back in. Beth, I'd love you to have the honor of talking about the Sharon Mann Inspiration Award and Scholarship, what it's about, why we're doing it. And so I'd love to have you share that. If I do, I know I'll cry. So I'm giving you the opportunity to share what we're going to be doing as a close to this year's event.
Thank you. Yes, I'll try not to get emotional too, but it's hard because Sharon Mann was definitely an inspiration to me, to many, many others in the industry. I grew up doing Sharon Mann workouts on TV, and I had her DVDs called The Works. And every Canfit Pro conference I went to and other fitness events, I would attend Sharon Mann's sessions, and I just love how she presented and facilitated fitness. She did it in such a welcoming, fun, warm way, and the way she interacted with others, whether they were, presenting with her in the works. She always had a few other instructors offering modifications and options and stuff. And so just their vibe on camera was fantastic. I would have loved to have been in the room to see that happen live. But Sharon Mann, we did lose her to cancer a few years ago, sadly. And she was just a phenomenal person. And so it's wonderful that Canfit Pro and Women Who Influence have this award to pay respect to Sharon's influence. And so the award, we seek out nominations. They can be self-nominated, and many of them are nominated by colleagues or friends or family to share another inspiring female fitness influencer. And we have 3 amazing nominees that I got a chance to get a glimpse at their backgrounds. I won't say any more than that, but we're really looking at these tremendously amazing women in the fitness industry who have a community impact, who have influence that really champion diversity, equity, and inclusion, and have a growth mindset and so much personal courage. The stories of the nominees in the past and this year, this is our second year of this award, really have demonstrated personal courage, and it's amazing to hear from them and these stories. And without this award, we might not hear from some of these folks or know about the amazing impact they are having in their local communities. So it's really a cool opportunity. And if you want to learn more about the Sharon Mann Award, you can head on over to canfitpro.com. And I believe I had the URL in my notes here. Yes, canfitpro.com/Sharon-Mann. And Sharon Mann is spelled with 2 N's. So you can learn more about the award and the scholarship, because it is a scholarship. So it's meant to lift up another female fitness, usually an entrepreneur, could be somebody else, who has a mission to have a stronger impact, to demonstrate that courage, and then to influence the people around them in their community to do more, to be more, to grow, and to help others. And just like Sharon did.
Oh, so brilliant. I love the story that you grew up with her TV, on the TV, and with her DVDs. We all have an experience with Sharon, and the reason this award is called the Sharon Mann Inspiration Award is exactly to your point. Rarely did you see Sharon on a stage by herself. She was always inspiring others to step on stage and to lead and to develop their skills as a presenter. Not only that, but every room she walked into, she just lit it up with her smile that I still see today. On that note, thanks for sharing the URL for that. Of course, to learn more about Women Who Influence, the event itself, again, open to all, and it's so important that we get this message across. It started as an event to celebrate women with women speakers. We've over the years evolved it, but this year we're really being intentional with both men and women presenting, as well as we'd love all leaders in the room, those that are learning their own leadership path and looking for assistance in that development, but also those who lead and those who want to learn how to support women in their corporations and helping to lift them up, helping to give them a platform, and understanding the power of like-mindedness, collaboration, connection, networking, and mentorship. So that's why we want everyone in the room. And if you go to CanFitPro, www.canfitpro.com/women who influence, you can learn all about the event. You can see the lineup of our incredible presenters this year. Of course, learn about the award and scholarship that we will be soon posting, the 3 finalists, and you can actually register for the event. And I encourage you to think about coming with a team or your best friends and coming and purchasing a table. The event includes a very nutritious lunch, of course, a lot of surprises, and a lovely event gift or gifts. So with that said, before we close, Beth, please share where viewers and listeners can learn where they can find you and follow you and work with you.
Sure. So on Instagram, it's at Beth Yarzab _FitPro. So you can find me there, and reach out to me. I'd love to get more conversations going about women's leadership and the work that I do, and to learn more about you if you're listening and you have an interest. So to thank you. And Mo, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to see how many men have the courage to step up to attend this event with us, right alongside us, and to learn.
That's right.
All these amazing topics and speakers. Like, let's do it. Let's get more people in the room and get more diverse identities in the room.
Absolutely. And we are here. We're passionate. We're on a mission. We want you to join us. So if, again, reach out to Beth, reach out to myself. You can learn more about also why we've talked about this event today, insight in the backstage story of CanFit Pro and Women Who Influence can be found in this month's June blog with Mo. You can go to CanFit Pro, of course, you can find me there, but to www.mohagan.com. Subscribe, receive the blog, and more information is available there as well. So until next time, we wish you all the best, and we look forward to connecting soon. And remember, the power of LeadHERS is we need all of you, because this is a journey and we're just embarking on it now. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Beth. I love you. And until next time, everyone, enjoy the moments.